Yo, what's going on, guys? Michael Jordan of the Copydoc here. I'm back. Hi. It's been a minute, like almost a month since I last uploaded. So sorry about that. When I did say a video was going to come out, but stuff happened. My computer stopped working, so I had to send that back in to get it fixed. But that's not what we're all here today. I am going to be back though. But today I am going to be talking about who's making Stage 3 playoffs because in a matter of weeks, we're all of a sudden starting Stage 3. And rather than doing a power rankings video, which is what a typical Overwatch YouTuber would do, such as myself, I am instead going to try to predict who will be making it into the stage playoffs. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. I think I'm going to go from 1 to 8 because if I said the 8, because we all know, oh, San Francisco, Shock, Titans, New York, they're all going to be making playoffs. So I'm just going to start from the top and go from the bottom because the bottom teams are where my predictions get a little bit different than what other people would be predicting. So for the first team who I think is going to be making playoffs and the number 1 seed, I think it's going to be San Francisco Shock again. I don't think they'll have that golden stage again, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get close to it. They have a very easy schedule. In week 1, they go against the Atlanta Reign, then Houston Outlaws, both teams that they should put down 4-0, if not 3-1. Then they have Seoul Dynasty, which might be a little bit more challenging, but who knows? And then we have Boston Uprising, Florida Mayhem, Chengdu, and London, which should be their only challenging team. And even then, I think that the Shock are on a league above everyone else besides the Titans. Which, speaking of the Titans, they are going to be my number 2 pick to be slotted into playoffs. So the Titans, they have a pretty easy schedule as well. They'll get the 3rd seed simply because they're in the same division as the San Francisco Shock. And I think that their map differential will be better like it was before in last stage. But their only challenging games really is the Gladiators, which they have to face twice. And the Gladiators fell kind of flat in stage 2 playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vancouver beat the Gladiators, even though I'm wearing a Gladiators shirt. And I also have like a $50 bet on the first game with the Gladiators versus Titans, and I don't want to lose. But regardless of that, I still think Titans will be making playoffs very comfortably as well. And then coming at number 3, I have the New York Excelsior, who will also go undefeated. They also have an easy schedule, but I mean, we all knew these 3 teams were going to make it. They go against Dallas, Mayhem, Defiant, London, Paris, Houston, and London. So London twice. That's a pretty tough task for London, but I think New York will be winning both of those games. Speaking of, since London came off of a high stage, the way we know London, they win, then they lose, then they win, then they lose, and then they win. So they lost, then they won, and this stage they're going to do pretty bad. And then at number 4, we have the Hangzhou Spark. Now this is a team that I don't know why people aren't hyping them up a lot. I knew they were going to beat the London Spitfire in playoffs. I predicted that. I knew they were going to beat Seoul, which again, no one predicted. Everyone keeps putting these guys below where I think they should be. I think that they are on the push to becoming the top 5 teams. Because right now we have our top 3, but then we have that 4th through 6th spot, which we don't know who it is. And I think Hangzhou are going to be putting a serious reason as to why they should be at that number 4 spot. But they go against Fusions, Titans, which they'll probably lose. They go against Justice, Fuel, Dynasty, Valiant, and Mayhem. All games which are very, very winnable. The only game they might have a problem against is, I think, in my opinion, going to be Seoul Dynasty. I think they'll lose the Titans one, but everyone knew that they were going to be losing that one regardless. But Seoul might put up a fight, and this is a rematch. I mean, that Seoul versus Hangzhou game was the determining factor of who would make Stage 2 playoffs. And Seoul lost, and I think that they'll lose again. And then coming at the number 5th spot is going to be the Los Angeles Gladiators. I think their only hard games really is going to be against the Titans. They have to go against Shanghai Dragons, and they might lose that game, but if they play to the level that they are expected to be playing at, then they will win all those games. Maybe might beat the Titans. And then coming off of number 6, speaking of which, is going to be the Shanghai Dragons. This is another one of those teams which is fighting to be in that top 4 through 6 spot. I think right now Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Gladiators are the 3 that take those spots, but they are still other teams fighting to be in that spot, but I think Shanghai is definitely going to be one of those teams. They are one of the 2 teams to take a map off the San Francisco Shock in Stage 2, which means that they are pretty good. And even that 4-0 against San Francisco Shock in Week 5 was an extremely close game. So they go against Valiant, Atlanta, Gladiators, Valiant, Guangzhou, and Philly. And while I think Guangzhou might take a series off, I think they're going to be a surprise team to people. I do think the rest of the games are very winnable, especially the Philly one. I don't think Philly are going to stand a chance. I don't like Philly right now. And then here is where we get a little interesting. In number 7, to make Stage 3 playoffs, I am going to be putting the Boston Uprising. Now, hear me out. I know that they beat the Gladiators pretty good, and I know they got reverse swept by the Washington Justice, which, I mean, it shouldn't have happened, but you know it did. Even after all of that, I still would consider this team in the top 12, top 10 of things. The reason why I say they're going to make playoffs is because you could have a team let's say you can have a team like London Spitfire, right? And actually, I'll say this right now, London I don't think are making playoffs. And here's the reason why. London Spitfire, they go against Boston, which I think they will win. They go against New York, San Francisco Shock, and they have to beat Valiant, Washington, Toronto, and Boston. And I don't think that they'll actually beat Boston, even though I said I think they'll beat them early. I think whoever wins that game will be the person to go to stage playoffs, but I don't think that it's going to be London. I think that the London are going to lose one of the games that they should be winning, which is why I don't think that London will be making it. But we're talking about Boston Uprising. Boston Uprising, besides the London game, they have a fairly easy schedule. The only tough teams that they go against is San Francisco and London Spitfire. The rest of the games, they go against Paris twice. They go against Philly, Houston, and Philly again. Yeah, they go against Philly twice, Paris twice, and Houston at all games that I think that they should be winning. So I think that Boston Uprising is going to be making Stage 3 playoffs. And then my final team, who I think is making playoffs, which is my most contradictive one, is going to be the Guangzhou Charge. Now, this team did not do good in Stage 2. I will admit that. But they have Nero now. Nero is the savior of this team. Just kidding. But he will be really good. But I still think that they have a very easy and winnable schedule. I think that this team is tied with some of these other teams. And if they're able to beat them, then they will be in the stage playoff. So they go against Chengdu Hunters Week 1. Now, I think the only reason Guangzhou Charge lost in Week 1 against the Chengdu Hunters is because they did not know what Chengdu was going to play. Until then, everyone thought Chengdu was going to be playing Ghost just like the rest of the teams, and that's why Guangzhou would win. But then Chengdu all of a sudden come out with this triple DPS Hammond strategy, which is why Guangzhou lost, because they got caught off guard. So I think that this time the Guangzhou Charge will be taking this one. The next game is going to be Seoul Dynasty, and I think that this game is actually going to be one of the only ones that they do lose. I think that Seoul is a very good team, but Seoul also have a very hard schedule this stage, which is why I wouldn't be putting them into the Stage 3 playoff. So I actually think that Guangzhou will lose to Seoul Dynasty. Then they go against Valiant, which they should be beating. They go against Toronto, who I think, again, they will beat. So right now they are 3-1 going into Week 4. And this is where things get a little dicey. They go against Shanghai not once, but twice. And if they lose both of those games, and then they'll probably beat Justice. If they lose both those games, they'll be 4-3, and they might not make playoffs. But if they actually beat Shanghai just once, if they split the series with Shanghai, I think that Guangzhou Charge will be making Stage 2 playoffs. And I think that they'll beat the Shanghai Dragons once, and the only two losses will be to Shanghai and Seoul, which is why Guangzhou will be making it with a 5-2 record. And with that, that is going to be today's video, a long-awaited video. Just kidding, no one really cared. But I'm back. Hopefully I'll be making more videos. We'll see. I can't predict what things happen. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy Overwatch League content, be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Peace.